stand here.
Bernard, how will you?
Who's first?
How will you fight him this time around?
Well, it's going to be different. It's going to be on him. It's going to be smart, and it's going to be an execution. You know what I mean? The style that we're going to put together, the fight Roy is going to be more than one. Roy Jones is good and he's just into one particular style. He knows me very well, I believe, and I know him too much. And so at the end, I think that somebody's going to have to give, and it won't be me.
He told me he's going to knock you out.
I mean, I've been boxing 20-something years. I heard that a lot, but it doesn't scare me. It just shows that if he means what he say, then we're going to have an exciting fight that some people is going to be shocked about, justified or unjustified. But at the end of the day, I just want him to live up to what he say, because I don't want to really look like a bully in there. And because I know that the better Roy Jones fight, the outcome of the fight will prove to people that I didn't fight a shell of a Roy Jones Jr. So if he says he's going to knock me out, and I take your word for it, then great, fine. Then I understand that this is going to be a fight where Bernard Hopkins always comes out, well, 90% of the time, with his best, and he looks better when he's fighting a person of Roy Jones or a threat status. So I'm ready. I'm pumped, man. I got 17 years of build-up in it, man. You ever try to talk to a girl and you never could get her ear? And eventually, 5 years went by and you finally see her in the supermarket, and she said hi for the first time. You're not exciting yours? I mean, everything got to, not rise up. You got to stay down and make sure that you, get a number, at least, without jumping the gun. This is that type of flip side of it.
She may be fatter.
Well, then you look the other way, of course, and you say hi. I remember you from high school, blah, blah, blah. You look good, really you don't, and you keep going.
You've talked a lot about how you've changed. How do you feel that Roy Jones has changed?
I think Roy Jones has changed in a way of not being as elusive as he was. I mean, he still has the flashes. He still has good speed, because to me, he had speed that was not normal. So now he's normal, but he's still fast. And so when you take a guy and you say, okay, what did he lose? From my perspective, I look at a lot of things. I look at his legs. I look at his reflexes. I look at the things he did. And the only way you be able to do this, if you get 2 TVs with 2 VCRs, or now DVDs. Blu-ray. Telling you my age. VCRs. And you watch Roy Jones at 60, at 68, at light heavy, and then you watch Roy Jones at, he never fought at cruiser, we'll say cruiser and say small heavyweight. And that's how I analyze fights. I tell people, I say, I don't try to think about what he fought like in the 90s or the 2000s. I take 2 TVs, 2 DVDs, when Roy was Roy, and when Roy is the older Roy, and that's the better. I'll be like, I see so many things that way. That makes sense to y'all? You can see, I mean, look at your before pictures. Look at your high school pictures. Look at yourself now.
I look the same.
You're up your insurance. You'll think you're ready to check out of here. But at the end of the day, that's how I, not only for Roy fight, but I don't think it's a secret. I'm letting y'all know, when I look at fights and I'm at this stage where I'm fighting a guy that's a veteran, I look at the old, and I look at the new, and I look at considered veteran or old.
Do you like him or dislike him?
I don't like him. I respect him. And that's because I have to, because I can't walk in a situation knowing that a guy got credentials. The guy got credentials. And a coward can hurt you, and a coward can kill you. That's that street mentality I got. I don't have to love him, but I can respect him to the point where I know that I got to come 100% of what I say I'm going to do, I got to do. I can't mess around. I can't take a light on him. I can't feel sorry for him. I can't get conned. I can't think that if I'm hurting him because his last 2 fights, I don't care. I have to go in there like Roy Jones Jr. and I went in there 17 years ago to do what I have to do, and that is, and will do, and that is KO Roy Jones Jr. in his career. And some would give me props for it, and someone said, oh, but I'll move on. And then, and boxing moves on. But this is a personal get back.
Bernard,
what do you take from the
your last fight?
What do you take from the Danny Green loss?
I take from the Danny Green loss that a guy of Roy Jones' status, it could have been me, didn't get the opportunity to tell you why, didn't get the opportunity to show why that Roy Jones Jr. Has been great in at least a decade and a half. and he should have had that opportunity based on looking at the footage right after I got done with my fight. They stuck a TV there and they let me cheer. To me, it was a premature stop. He got up. He did the Roy that Roy did 10 years ago. Hold his hands on the ropes. He did that in the middleweight. For God's sakes. He did that in the the super middleweight. That's Roy. He'll let you bang, bang, bang. He'll pick shots. Hope he can catch you. Want you to get some steam off. Hopefully, you run some punches. He just catch him. Then he comes on. That's not strange to me. If you've been watching Roy Jones like I've been watching him, I think I know him better than his parents. I kept my eye on him. Why? Because as you reported, as most people here, I've been trying to get Roy Jones for the last 10 years.
Why now?
Why now?
Why not? Is it the timing?
No, that's a great question, because let me ask why now first, and then the timing. The timing don't have anything to do with it. Remember, I was trying to get him before.
He said differently, though.
I have more to lose than Roy Jones. Would you agree? I have more to lose than Roy Jones, based on what people's perception is about Roy Jones. The knockout, the dandingies. Am I right or wrong? I've never been knocked out. Last time I've been knocked down was in Segundo Mercado in Quito, Ecuador, 1994. Now, this fight, why now, is because timing dictates sometimes to us that we're not in charge. That HBO is not in charge. When things supposed to be happening because we want it to happen, don't necessarily has to be the case. Hey, Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. We talking about blood and $40 million a piece. Split. That didn't happen. We try to be in control, most times we are. But every now and then this stranger to y'all, but not to me, well, I ain't gonna say y'all, to people, comes out and make things different that somehow we scratch our head and try to figure out why. Ask them. I know why. It's bigger than me and you and anybody in this crowd right here. If it's meant to be and it's time to happen, it's time to happen. And now, and I think, if it was up to me, which is not, I'm not in control of everything that goes on in boxing or even in my own life, because things happen where I didn't expect to happen, and I got to deal with it. That's part of living and dying. But now, I think it's one of the times where we both in our 40s, we both are Hall of Famers, 80 plus years in experience. I tell you, I'm going out to All-Star Weekend Friday, and I heard that Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson is going to mess around. It has like a 21, a shoot-up. It's sold out in less than 24 hours. Now, they both probably going to need walkers going in there. But they said Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. Now, if you're not a basketball fan, I can understand you're not aroused. But if you're a fan and you recognize those names, guess what? You're going to that shoot around. You know why? You're not looking at they got a walker. You're not looking at Jordan didn't play in 5 years, Magic in over 10, 15. You heard legends. You're going to see some flashes of some great stuff that you would never be able to say to yourself, I got to sit down and watch two legends. How often do we get that in boxing when we see legends that's way past their 30s? You've seen it in the 80s when we had the great 80s, when we had the, Hearns and Leonard and Caesars, right? Hearn and Leonard had the white shorts with their candy cane stripes. I remember that. I was a teenager watching that like, yo. Remember that fight? They both was past what? Tell yourself this. When the last time you seen two 40-plus-year-old Hall of Famers get together and duke it out on a respectful level?